Hey everybody, I am back and I thought I would do another one. A few days ago I talked about finding new topics or different topics to talk about regarding narcissists. And I usually talk about there's three things. Three, well, there's probably more, but there's the three main things that I discuss on here is reconnecting, cheating, and silent treatment. These are three things that I have dealt with personally at a very high level. Okay, well, high level, but I think anybody who's ever dealt with someone who's cheated on you is it's going to be big. It's not a small thing that happens, especially after you've been with someone for a very long time and you trusted them and all that stuff. Okay, so yeah, I mean, these are the things that I mainly talk about, right? Now, there's other things I talk about. I talk about the future faking. I talk about other manipulative tactics that they do. But the three main things, reconnecting, cheating, and silent treatment. So, if you don't like these topics, you're probably not going to, you might get bored here because those are the things I mainly focus on. Yeah. Those are the three main topics. And with those topics, they kind of branch off into other topics. So with cheating, cheating is a huge one. And through conversations with other people, with friends and stuff, that's a lot of times that's how I get my subject matter is if I just had a conversation with a friend about someone, or cheating or whatever, I'll get in the mood to talk about it. Cheating is, as I said, it's something that I dealt with mine. Someone said to me, what if you can't find anything? You just have a feeling that they're cheating on you, but you can't find any proof. But you just get this overall feeling, this vibe. Something's off, right? I talked about something's off. Narcissists are very good, okay? Very, very good at hiding their affairs. They're very good at doing that. A lot of times they'll have two phones. You might only see that they have one cell phone, but sometimes they have two cell phones going. They'll lock things up away from you. They have secret places where they put stuff. A lot of times their phones are on a, what do you call that? When you lock your phone up, you have to have a symbol, a pattern to get into it. They do that a lot. Narcissists are very good at hiding what they're doing. They really are. But sometimes they want you to know. Sometimes it's like the opposite. Sometimes they want you to find out. Sometimes they want you to know. I'll give you an example with mine. I think I talked about this a few times on here. My narcissist one day, during the end of our relationship, left a letter, or whatever you want to call it, a note on the living room table where he was writing a letter to somebody to ask them out on a date. And I saw it. Now, I could say, well, I shouldn't have looked. I was in the living room looking for a lighter to light my cigarette, and I thought it was the list for the grocery store, and it ended up being a letter to somebody. Why was it there? Was it planted there? Did he want me to see it? I'll never know. But to tell you the truth, my response to it probably wasn't what he wanted. As far as him wanting me to get upset and cry, or start a fight, or get up and leave, I didn't do that. I looked at the letter. I asked him about it, of course. But I didn't, at that point in the relationship, I already had my my inner voice, my inner feelings was already telling me something was rotten in Denmark. Something was really going wrong. Something was going on, whereas he was cheating. And I was already living with that in my mind for a long time. So finding that, I wasn't completely surprised. I was a little bit taken back that he would leave it there for me to find. But like I said, sometimes they want you to find it. They want you to know that they're looking around. And they do it to hurt you. 100%, yes, they do it to hurt you. Narcissists are very spiteful. And a lot of times their hurting you is done, as I said, a scheme, a planned agenda, a scheme, something that they really think about before they do it. You know, narcissists are very planned type of people. Their mischief, or whatever you want to call it, their games are very well thought out. And these people are very good swindlers. They really are. And, you know, so you have to kind of know what you're dealing with. So yes, another thing that I want to tell people about this is that narcissists don't have any empathy, all right, at all. They don't have a conscience. They have no remorse. So nothing is stopping them from cheating on you. Like, I know from me, when I was with my ex-narcissist, and other guys after my narcissist, and guys before him, you know, when I was younger, even now in my 50s, I do get hit on. If I go out to a bar, I always get hit on. I'm at the grocery store, I get hit on. No matter where I am, most of the time, I will get approached by somebody, or just talked to by a man. If he's alone, a lot of times he'll strike up a conversation with me. I'm very friendly. When I'm out, a lot of times I do talk to people that I don't know. I am a friendly person, despite living where I live, because where I live, there's a lot of snobby people up here, kind of people that are not very approachable, but I'm a very, like, friendly, down-to-earth girl. Very down-to-earth. But I always, like, even when I talk to a guy, it's like, oh, I shouldn't have talked to him. Like, it's only talking. But my conscience is telling me, like, I'm in a relationship. I probably shouldn't be talking to this guy, but it's not a big deal. We're just making small talk. It's not, I wasn't cheating. Nothing wrong with talking to people. Nothing wrong with striking up conversations with strangers. As long as, you know, you don't take it any further than that. You know, if you're talking about the bad customer service in the grocery store, which is what I do most of the time when I'm waiting online and talking about how bad the grocery service has become, or customer service in grocery stores have become. A lot of people agree with me, and then they tell me their stories. And, you know, you kind of bond with people. But you do feel, and I know for me, I do feel, my conscience telling me I shouldn't be doing this, but that's just my personality. And I do it with women too. I don't just do it with guys. You know, whoever's behind me, that's who I usually will do it with. You know? Or who's ever in front of me, or who's ever on the side of me. But yeah, narcissists don't care that they're hurting you. They could give a shit less. So because they lack the empathy, being unfaithful to you while you're in that relationship does not even worry them. They don't think about it at night and keep awake that they're hurting you. They don't give a shit, okay? Their cheating ways, they don't give a shit. They don't care that they're lying to you. They don't care that they're doing this behind your back. That's a big reason why narcissists pull off cheating and can do it for so long without you really knowing, okay? But there are going to be signs, and as I said before, the narcissist is going to deny every single sign that you bring up. Every single sign that you talk about and you say, this isn't right, what's going on here? And you start bringing up all the changes, all the things that are weird and unusual. They're going to come up with an excuse, and they're going to basically lie about it, all right? you know, I'm trying to think about, um, you know, while they're cheating, without you knowing, they're grooming that next person. All right. So how do I put this? While they're with you, behind your back, all right, they're carrying on this other affair type thing, right? And while they're carrying on this affair, they're grooming that person. They're conditioning them, okay, for when they're actually with them, okay, for whenever it is that they get together, okay, whenever it is that they start dating, you know, regularly or whatever. They do groom their replacement for you, okay? But you have to understand something too. A lot of times, when that narcissist is cheating with somebody, or whoever it is they're cheating with, and that person knows, like, I got a girlfriend, I'm with someone, I got a girlfriend, blah, 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 that person will go ahead and cheat on him, okay? Like, look, it's true. Karma is real. Karma is real, guys. It's a real, true thing, all right? Karma is real. And when that narcissist is cheating with that person knows they have a girlfriend, that person that they're cheating with will go off and cheat on them. And if you're that much of a scumbag to carry on anything with someone who you know has a girlfriend, then you've got to be a pretty low bottom dweller if you're dating a guy or hanging out with a guy who you know has a girlfriend. Like, you got to be a pretty lousy person to do that, right? And if when that person gets with them, they think they're going to be, you know, faithful? Absolutely not. So you have to kind of know what you're dealing with here with these narcissists and the people that they kind of get with. They have no standards. All right. I talked about this. That's another one of my big topics on here is the standards. Who the narcissist gets with, whether they're cheating on you with or they get with after you. Okay. A lot of times they're already with that person. Well, you got to remember that. This is a big, big, big thing. That narcissist will not do that. Narcissists will not let on anything unless they feel very confident about that next person. All right? They have to feel very... Now, another thing that I want to talk about, that's important that you understand this one too. And as I said before, when a narcissist is kind of insulting you, and you see your relationship sort of going down the tubes, all right, and this is going to happen during the devalue stage, all right, while they're doing this, they're love bombing someone else, all right, so when you start to see your relationship changing in any way, shape, or form, for the worst, insults, put downs, not remembering important dates, okay, not celebrating certain dates that you've always celebrated before. When they're not doing that with you, a lot of times they're doing that with somebody else, guys. You kind of have to know the way these guys are, the way these people are, all right? And you're not going to know a lot of this stuff. Okay, I didn't know any of this stuff back then. I know about it now. I believe that God wanted me to know about it. That's why I know about it. But when they're kind of when things are shitty between you and that person, it's because there's somebody else that they're love bombing. There's someone else that they're pursuing. There's someone else that they're putting on a pedestal. They did put you on a pedestal for a certain amount of time, but the narcissist does get bored. All right, after being with the same person for a long time, when you no longer are a challenge to that narcissist anymore, and you're no longer, that challenge, they will begin to get bored. It's not fun anymore. It becomes boring to that narcissist, all right? So that's a big, big thing that narcissists do, okay? Huge, humongous. Yeah, triangulation. I mean, they do triangulate you, but they're not going to triangulate in the beginning with anybody. Not in the very beginning, because they don't want you to know that they don't want you to know that this other person exists. All right, because they shouldn't be doing that, right? But they will triangulate you with friends, whether they have coworker friends or just friends. They will triangulate you with other people. Most of the time with their exes, yes. Narcissists will triangulate you with exes. They love to do that. They'll kind of, how can I put it? I want to give an example of this. They'll it's kind of a hard thing to take an example of, but like they'll kind of, maybe they'll leave something around of their exes, or they'll bring something up about an ex. And they'll give you the suspicion, like, something ain't right, like, do they still like that person? Now, I remember when I first met my ex, narcissist, that was a big deal. Huge. Because we're talking about when Facebook, I remember when Facebook first started. Anybody remember that? Going back, 2008, 2007, I think it started. I was never on Facebook during those years. I didn't get on there till much later. Much later. And I didn't really stay on it. I mean, I do, but I don't. And I was never on it with my ex. I never did it. I didn't want anything to do with it. I can just see it being a fight waiting to happen, all right? Although, with my ex, he had a lot of his exes were on his page. And I told him, right from the start, that I didn't feel comfortable with you having your exes all over your Facebook. You can see what they're doing, see when they're single, see when they're not single. I wasn't confident enough with my narcissist in the very beginning of the relationship. I didn't know him that well. I was beginning a relationship with him, and I told him, I would really appreciate it if you didn't go on there. I really wish you wouldn't, because I don't like that you have ex-girlfriends on your page. I said, if it was just you and your guy friends, I really wouldn't mind. But since you have he had a few. It wasn't just one. I think there was like maybe 3. And I just didn't, I wasn't feeling that. And that was a big part of me in the very beginning with my ex-narcissist, whether or not I wanted to really date him. Because I thought to myself, well, why does he need to have all these ex-girlfriends on his page when he's beginning a relationship with me? Is he trying to keep tabs on them, or does he just talk to them from time to time? And I just didn't really like that. And that was a big problem. He did get off of it. He told me he got off of it. But when we would get into arguments and fight, or when we would break up, he would go on there. And he used to do it, on spite to piss me off. And it would bother me. Yeah, it would. That was a big thing that this is one of the big kind of like things that we used to do together. He would go on Facebook, and I would join a dating site. This is what we used to do, like, every single time. It was funny. Now, looking back at the behavior that we had, we were like 2 teenagers, but it's what we used to do. I do believe he did stay off it for most of our relationship, but as I said, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to say he was off it most of the time when we were together. At least when we were together, he really didn't go on it, unless we were broken up or in a fight or whatever. That was so funny when we used to do that. And then I used to go on a dating site. It was funny. It was funny. But anyway, it was tit for tat behavior. Yes, it was tit for tat. It was funny. Yeah, really, really funny. But anyway, getting back to cheating. Narcissists sometimes will have these backup plans. All right, they do that too. They'll have like a plan B. All right, like if something's not working out with you, a lot of times they have someone in the background. They'll have someone in the back that they're, as I said, grooming, conditioning, seeing if it's going to work out with them, you know, seeing, you know, just basically they have them in the background to just have. If something goes wrong with you, there's somebody else. They do that a lot too. They do. The problem is that they do not come clean about it. You know, I had a relationship with mine over 10 years ago. And although I know, I can't say 100% that I know I actually did it, I would say 99.99999%. I am 99.999% sure that my ex knew the source he brought in after me. I do believe that he knew her. I do believe that he hung out with her even. Yes, I do. I believe that he might have known her for a while. I'm not going to say he knew her for years, but I'm sure I have a feeling that he probably met her probably at least a year to a year and a half to 2 years before we even broke up. I would say most likely, I would say probably. I'm not 100% on any of this, but I'm talking to you, I'm telling this to you guys from a woman's intuition. All right, this is my own intuition, and I will tell you now that that's what I believe wholeheartedly. And the narcissist will never, I'll tell you this, they will never come clean. They will never tell you the truth about it. They want to keep you in the dark because they do not want to be seen or known as a cheater. They don't want to be looked down on because they know how shitty it is. Now, do they care? No, they don't. Regret and remorse. Does the narcissist regret cheating on you? Do they feel remorse about what they did? Do they feel any regret over it? Well, I could tell you this. With mine, he should. If he doesn't, he should. But the narcissist will never, ever tell you that he regrets anything. Like, if they can't even admit to you that they did anything wrong in the relationship, how are they going to tell you that they feel regret? If you can't even converse and talk and have a deep conversation about their downfalls, about their cheating ways, about what they really did in the relationship with you, how are they going to talk about their regret and remorse for you? So you're never going to know that they feel regret. I do feel 100% that deep down, the act of there being a huge mistake was done. I do feel that he does understand that. But as far as feeling remorse, regret, real regret towards you, no, they don't. They don't feel anything like that because of their lack of empathy. They will justify their cheating. They do. They'll justify it in some way by saying they weren't really doing anything wrong. They justify everything that they do. So no, it's not gonna be regretful, and they're not gonna talk about regret with you. They're never gonna apologize for cheating on you either. Even though that you know, my ex knows, he knows very well that I know that he cheated. Although he'll never tell me, he'll never express to me regret, he'll never express apology towards me. He'll never say to me, you know what, I fucked up royal, I fucked up bad. He never ever has said that to me. Because deep down, like I said, he knows he fucked up, but because of his lack of really feeling empathy, like he did anything wrong, he's not able to really feel it. You know what I mean? So yeah. They need the validation from other people. All right, that's a big one. They need the attention and the validation from other people. Your validation isn't needed anymore because they already conquered you. All right? They never feel, and as I said, they never get that full-on feeling of being done. It's like almost like a pail that has a hole in it and the water just keeps coming out. They never feel fulfilled by anybody. You might think, oh, they've been in a relationship for a couple of years. Maybe this is going to work out. It's not going to work out. Definitely isn't going to work out. Because that person will also become old hat to that person. They'll start treating them like shit and start cheating on them. It's just the way they are. They need that validation from other people. And yeah, sometimes it's cheating. Full-on cheating. So, you know, getting caught. People talk about, well, is it the whole thing is that, getting caught. Sometimes they want to get caught, and sometimes they don't. When they're ready to kind of leave the relationship with you, they might put out signs that they're cheating. As I said, mine put a note out. He had a friggin' letter right on the friggin' living room table. I was there looking for a lighter to have a cigarette, and there was a little letter there. Was it a plant, or was it just me finding it by chance? Could have been both. I'm going to say that it was a plant, and he wanted me to see it. So, everybody's situation is different. Every circumstance is different. Every relationship is different, all right? Cheating is going to be something that is going to be very, very hurtful to you. It's a betrayal. It's a complete betrayal. And, it's not nice. It's not nice to do. They do that. Narcissists sometimes will, and this is crazy. This is crazy, but this is what they do a lot of times. They will justify their cheating by blaming it on you and saying, well, you weren't around to do this with. You didn't like to do this, but they did. That's what they do. They'll blame shift to justify their cheating. If they get caught. You say, look, if by any chance you find something and it's like 100%, they'll say, well, you didn't like to do this, and they did. You didn't want to do this, and they like to do this. That's why I cheated, because they like to do this. I was able to go and do this with them. They'll do that too. They'll blame shift on you. They'll blame you for their cheating ways. There's a lot that goes into this, guys. This is a topic that is more than just 20-minute video. But there's a lot more that goes into the cheating. And this is something that I will probably be doing more videos on. If I need to, I have been looking for different videos to do different topics. And cheating is one of the things that I can talk about a lot. Because there's a lot that goes with this. There's a lot of information that goes with cheating and narcissism, okay? It's a huge topic. 99% of narcissists cheat at some point with you. If you're in a long-term relationship with them, they're going to cheat on you. It's just a matter of when. All right? So, anyway, that's it for this one. I'm going to talk more about this, all right? I'm going to keep talking about cheating. But, I just wanted to put this out there about, if you're someone who's in a relationship with them and you're not sure, all right, and you're looking for reasons and why and things like that, this is part of it, all right? Anyway, that's it for this one.